Hello folks, I'm Alex, this is Alex Unabridged, and this is the evolution of a booktuber tag. So welcome back to the channel if that is the case. Yes, a little tag for you today. This is the evolution of a booktuber tag, originally created by Jack at Spread Book Joy, and I was tagged by Pat over at Book Chat with Pat. So thank you very much, Pat, for that tag. I will link in the description to both Jack's and Pat's videos, of course. So yes, I've been on Booktube for coming up 2 years. It'll be 2 years in January next year. So I'm not a newbie by any stretch, but not as established as some folks, but the channel has evolved over that time. So let's dive into these prompts and see how. So prompt number 1, Extinction. Are there things you used to do on your channel that you no longer do? Yes. Yes, there are. In terms of kind of actual output things, so I kind of when I first started, I wanted to do kind of more sort of series of things. So I did kind of, my series of adventures in genre where I tried a different genre every month. That was last year, to broaden my own reading, and that was fantastic. I really enjoyed that and picked up a lot of new stuff that I want to explore more. In terms of genres, but that was only ever going to be sort of 1 year's project. And then this year I started with a few more series. So I had my month with series, which was looking at or reading some books by authors that I'd only read a couple of bits from before, and just trying to sort of read some more books by people I'd certainly got an interest in. Then there was my quarterly chunk, which was just to read a chunking book every quarter. And then there's my science fiction for the somewhat hesitant series, getting me into a load of classic science fiction. And I've had to drop a couple of those because I just don't have time. It's just overstretching myself, which is the story of my life. But I did enjoy those immensely, but they're the sort of things that I can come back to, like with the authors thing. I can just do that randomly. Basically, I'll just make sure that I do return to those authors that I had on the list to read more of their work. But yeah, I've kept the science fiction for the somewhat hesitant. That is the one that I could not get rid of. That's just been so valuable to me. I've enjoyed it so much and I'm getting so much out of it that is absolutely not going anywhere. In fact, that is going into 2025 and possibly beyond. I have just done away with my weekly vlogs. I'd started doing weekly vlogs back in, I don't know, May, June, I think. But again, I'm shifting those to a monthly vlog, so vlogs are kind of staying anyway. And because I'm just in a kind of a point of evolution, if you like, or change. I am changing how I do stuff on the channel because of time, really, more than anything else. Time and my own pressures in terms of reading, kind of giving myself too much to kind of try and get through. So I'm not doing like TBRs anymore. Or Piles of Possibility. I'm not doing monthly wrap-ups anymore. I'll do wrap-ups as and when I finish stuff and just kind of chill out a bit more. I think I'd kind of I really enjoyed the amount that I was doing on Booktube, but life gets in the way and I have less time, therefore less brain space for stuff. So yeah, I've cut back quite a bit. I think in terms of like my production side of things, in terms of what I used to do, I put less graphics in to my videos now. I've kind of found the sweet spot for what doesn't take too long to do, and I spend less time editing as well. That's partly through practice, but that's also partly from just realizing that I don't need to overthink things all the time, and that it's you know, that there's you know a point where it is good enough. So yeah, I'm quicker with stuff, but also just I just don't overthink things quite so much. Okay, prompt number 2 then, adaptation. What things have you done on your channel or as a result of being on Booktube that you never thought you'd do? I didn't really have that many expectations coming in terms of what I'd do or end up doing or not doing. Vlogs weren't really something that I necessarily thought I'd be interested in. But I kind of really got into watching some other folks vlog their reading, and it looked like a lot of fun, and so I wanted to try it myself, and I found it's a lot of fun to do it myself, to make my own. So I do enjoy doing them a lot. So as I say, that's why they're continuing as a monthly. Yeah, they weren't the sort of thing that I'd really thought of doing at all. Live streams, I've only done one so far, which was fabulous, with Gareth over at Book Songs and Other Magic and Dave and Olive over at Book Blather. I was invited to join them on their regular live stream on a Thursday night called Is This Thing On? And that was great. I was a little nervous when it came to it, but not too bad. But I'd kind of resisted doing live streams prior to that because they did have a bit of I did have a bit of anxiety, to say the least, attached to them. But I kind of got to the point where I was like, oh, just give it a go. If you don't like it, you don't have to do another one. And actually found that I really enjoyed it because it's very chilled. So yeah, that's something I'd potentially look to do more of in the future. In terms of my reading, I'm so much more open to trying new things. And I read a ton more different genres than I ever did before. When I joined Booktube, I was a horror reader with a few bits and pieces thrown in. But I did want to change that, hence coming in and doing the Adventures in Genre series. I did want to broaden what I read. And yeah, I didn't find that I didn't find that anywhere near as daunting or as difficult as I thought, and I found that I liked a lot more than I thought I would as well. So yeah, I do read a lot more different stuff these days. I still love my horror, and now I absolutely love science fiction as well. But I am always up for trying something, completely different outside of those two. Okay, prompt number 3 then is evolution. How has Booktube changed you, and what do you aspire to do on your channel in the future? I think the thing that has changed the most that I didn't really expect to change so significantly is just being comfortable being myself on camera, and certainly just talking about myself, and not just what I was reading or had read or whatever, but about myself personally as well. Sort of when I came into this, I was really in two minds about how much I wanted to kind of share about, say, like my identity as queer and trans. I was kind of very, very nervous about being open about that. But as soon as I got a bit more confidence and started connecting with folks on Booktube, which didn't take long at all, a matter of weeks, a couple of weeks if that, I found everybody so welcoming, so lovely, so open, that I just kind of thought, well, it feels like a safe space, and so why the hell not actually be fully yourself. And yeah, that's been brilliant. That has been a massive boost for me, in confidence just in myself, I think. Booktube and how it's influenced my reading and love of books is directly connected as well to the current career change that I'm going through at the moment. It has definitely the increase in my reading and passion for reading and books and starting writing as well, more, is responsible for, as I say, the inspiration to kind of go in that direction towards editorial work. But yeah, I think the biggest surprise for me on Booktube is the friendships that I've made. I hope to connect with people through Booktube. That was part of starting the channel. But I never thought I would end up with what I'd call close friendships with folks. People I talk to away from the channel almost on a daily basis, who I would absolutely want to stay in touch with. If Booktube just disappeared randomly tomorrow. Folks who have met on Booktube have had a significant impact on me as a person. And that has definitely been the most joyous thing of the whole experience for me. So as I say, I'm more confident. I'm much happier as well. I'm far less lonely. When I joined Booktube, I was quite lonely at that point. It's another reason why I wanted to kind of join and just chat to people, even if it was just kind of on quite a surface level. I was very isolated. I felt very isolated. And so yes, I'm much happier in myself. I'm an introvert, but I'm also, I do really love social contact. I do really, love that engagement, chatting to people, especially about something that we're all passionate about. And I needed that. Aspirations for the channel wise, none in particular really. I'm not kind of constantly thinking, I want to increase my, subscriber count or, anything like that. I'm kind of happy with it just ticking up of its own accord, really, if it, goes up and down a little bit. To be honest, I don't really pay a huge amount of attention to it. I've got to the point where I'm always happy to put out a video and have some interaction. I know I'll always get interaction from regular folks and new folks, and that's kind of enough for me. I'm not actively seeking to grow the channel. I just want it to grow organically as I put out whatever I want to put out. As I say, I'm slowing down a bit at the moment anyway. I've done the whole do everything and do it now kind of thing. And I just need to settle into my own rhythm really now and not overface myself so much with TBRs and events and things like that. I'll still do events because I absolutely love them, but and some of them I will go all out on, like Garb August, but the majority of them I will just chill out a bit and maybe just do one prompt, something like that, and just be involved and engage with folks in the community again, be a part of something. It's lovely. Okay, prompt number 4 then, bonus prompt. Impart your words of wisdom to all the fledgling booktubers out there. Be yourself, first and foremost. I watch a lot of different booktubers, and many of those that I watch on a regular basis read wildly different things to me. A lot of the stuff that they read is the sort of stuff that I will never pick up. It's not my kind of thing. But I keep going back because of the person, because they are very much themselves. They do things their own way, and it's the personality that I keep returning for. It's it's the person, it's the connection with the person. And just listening to somebody talk passionately about the books that they love, even if they're not necessarily the sort of books that I might love, that's what I'm there for. So yeah, just be honest and be yourself and read what you want and talk about it honestly. Another point I would make, certainly, and this is from experience, is chill out. Don't try and do too much at once. For the vast majority of us, I think, this is a hobby. It's a way of sharing our passion, our love for reading. So set your own schedule. Don't put any undue pressure on yourself to get a ton of videos out each week. Take breaks if you need to, because you've got other things going on in your life. Just do what is right and appropriate for what you can handle, basically. Watch and interact with people, I think, is a big one. That's the best way to find your own little corner of Booktube. It's not really one big community, I would say, Booktube. It's lots of smaller communities that are connected. And there's a place, there's something for everyone. There is a place for everyone. So just, yeah, like watch lots of people, check lots of people's, you know, channels out, interact with them, and you'll find your place very, very quickly. Get involved with events, but don't feel like you have to cover all of the prompts for an event. You know, just reading one thing means that you've participated, and participation will lead to those connections again, so that being a part of that community. But the main thing is just to have fun with it. There is no one right way to do Booktube. Read what you want, however much you want, when you want, and just let that reading inform what kind of content you put on the channel, really. So there we go. That's my advice, such as it is. So those are all the tags, other than, of course, the final tag to tag some other people. I won't tag anyone specifically. I've seen this do the rounds a fair bit, this tag. So I will use the cheat option and say, if you enjoyed this tag and it looks like something you might want to have a crack at yourself, then please do jump on board. But that will do for me today. I think I've rambled on long enough, as per usual. So thank you very much for watching, folks. As always, do drop your thoughts in the comments below. It's always lovely to hear from you. I'll be back on Friday with my thoughts on The Giver by Lois Lowry, one of my science fiction for the somewhat hesitant reads. So I do hope you'll join me for that then. But from me, for now, that's ta-ra.